not even saying that. I put him at 3 or 4.
Yeah, I've got him in that 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Like, again, the defense stuff matters to me.
With the recent media coverage on Luka Doncic's MVP case, I'm starting to wonder whether or not MVP voters are fat phobic. Maybe he needs to solve world hunger. Stop the war in the Middle East to have a chance, because this guy has had 13 straight 30-plus point games. He scored 160 more points than anyone in the month of March, almost 200 more than anyone since the All-Star break, averaging 37.5 in March, second most since Michael Jordan. 87 Jordan. Team went 15-2 in the month, and he went down to 4th. He went down in the MVP ladder. And if you haven't been keeping up with the media coverage, here's a perfect example. Right after Luka drops 42, 12, and 5 on the Cavs with 0 turnovers, the first player in NBA history to do something like this, Bill Simmons, one of the most prominent voices in NBA media, who didn't even have the Lakers making the play-in before the season, puts out this video on his podcast right after the game.
I can't imagine a guy whose game I should like more, who as a player I hate.
And this isn't the only case, as countless media members over the past couple of weeks have come out and said that Luka doesn't even deserve to be in the race. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at why this is by far the biggest smear campaign in NBA history. Also going to reveal my MVP ladder by breaking down each candidate, and by the end of this video, you'll realize that the MVP race isn't between Wemby, Shea, Jokic. It's Luka Doncic versus the media.
I just can't get past the defensive numbers for Luka Doncic. The defensive numbers have just been, they've been bad. I want to read some of you. Luka has an individual defensive rating this year of 115.6. That would rank 119th among the 180 players with 25 plus starts this season. So he has been, in any measurable statistic, one of the worst defensive players in the league.
I can't even believe this guy got a vote. I mean, imagine talking hoops with your friends and all of a sudden somebody brings up individual defensive rating. They throw this number at you to change your mind. I mean, Chris Mattis is lucky that I'm Asian to even look at this formula and entertain his argument, because Luka leads all candidates in steals, all candidates in deflections. His blocks have gone up, charges taken have gone up. Every single defensive metric for Luka Doncic individually this year has gone up.
Is he the top contender for MVP right now? No, he is not. Is the reason because you do have to play both sides of the ball for all 8 months of the season? Yes, it is.
Now, this one's really interesting because NBA reporter Rachel Nichols, who's very well respected in the space, did a magnificent job at ESPN as a host, said this about Luka Doncic 4 months ago.
He's leading the league in scoring. He's averaging nearly a triple-double. Defense has actually been solid.
So according to her, his defense has actually been solid 4 months ago, but 4 months later, it's trailed off so badly that we don't even care about the increase in offensive numbers, increase in wins, the history that he's making. Nope, he's not in the conversation anymore. But this is even more interesting because while Rachel Nichols was at ESPN, here's what she had to say about James Harden.
Nothing any of these other guys can do to steal it away from him. And frankly, it's been the case for a couple months now. There's all the basic numbers we always lean on, right? Harden leads the league in scoring. He's top 3 in assists. He's got more three-pointers than anyone. He's still okay, never going to win Defensive Player of the Year. But he's at least active enough now on that side of the ball. It's not going to derail him.
I find her timeline very interesting, which we'll get more into towards the end of the video. But this third clip, this one hurts.
And I just think SGA has had a bigger impact on his team. I think Jaylen Brown has had a bigger impact on his team. Wemby, all of these guys have had bigger impacts. I just don't think he's eclipsed a couple of these guys to put himself in a realistic conversation to actually go out and win this thing at this point.
Watching this clip almost made me cry because I love Lou Will. My goodness, was Lou Will nasty as an NBA player. And he's played in the NBA. You know, I haven't. So he's supposed to know more basketball than me. But to say he hasn't done enough to even deserve to be in the conversation. What is happening? He has a less impact on winning than Jaylen Brown. Like, how are we drawing these conclusions from watching Lakers basketball? I don't understand. Lakers 7-6 without Luka this year, 4th in minutes in the league. We already know about his usage rate. I don't even need to go there. AR and LeBron missed 47 combined games this season, and they're 3rd in the West. 7 40-point games in the last month. Doesn't even deserve to be in the conversation. Doesn't even deserve it! I think someone gave him that script. I don't think that's his own opinion, especially with how pure of a scorer he is. I just don't believe it. This is why I think they're fat phobic. I just don't understand. I think if Los Polos or Drewski was averaging 60, I don't think they'd be in the conversation either. Chris Haynes says there's a case that Luka Doncic shouldn't even be ranked higher than Jaylen Brown in the MVP race. No way he overtakes SGA. No way he overtakes Wemby. Also a case he shouldn't even overtake Jaylen Brown. If we want to debate that Luka should be top 5, I'll give you that. I'm not going any further than that. At 34, 8, and 8, he can't go further than that. He just can't go further. But if according to these voters, Luka doesn't deserve to be in the MVP conversation, let's take a look at who does. First of all, we have Victor Wembanyama, who actually made his own claims to the media why he deserves MVP.
My first one would be that defense is 50% of the game and that it is undervalued. So far in the MVP race, I believe I'm the most impactful player defensively in the league.
His first point is his strongest point. Defense is undervalued in the MVP race. I agree. But because they only give a Defensive Player of the Year award in the NBA, not an Offensive Player of the Year, I think offense is weighed way more heavily than defense in the MVP conversation. And there is a history for this. Because I don't ever remember Jokic being a defensive stopper, let alone 3 times. I never thought James Harden was Gary Payton. I never thought Steph Curry could stop anybody. Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash, Allen Iverson. The list goes on. But these are the MVPs that you voted for. You media members actually set this precedent, which makes no sense why all of a sudden this year it's valued damn near more than offense.
Second argument would be we almost swept OKC in the season.
His second argument is a direct dig at Shea, right? 4-1 against the Thunder this year. Doesn't address the other candidates, but makes it clear who he thinks in his mind is his top competitor.
My third argument would be that offense impact is not just points.
Now, I love Wemby. I think he's the next face of the league. Plus, this brother loves China. All right, automatically we're locked in for life. I wish him happy Chinese New Year every year from here on out. All right, but brother, you are 14th in the league in points per game. I understand if you were like 5th, right? And the other guys are hovering the top 5. You got Luka at number 1, Shea at number 2, Jokic at 7. But brother, you're 14! The last time somebody won MVP, even hovering around your point total, was 2015 Steph Curry, which is 23.8 points per game. Now, relative to that season, Steph was 8th in points per game, which is around where Jokic is this year. But also, he's 2nd in total points. And the reason I bring all of this up is because you gotta be a bucket getter to be my MVP. Not even just my MVP. Every single voter's is MVP. Unless you have this insane impact on basketball like 2015 Steph or like Phoenix Suns Steve Nash, you gotta get buckets. The voters have to stop moving the goalposts to force Victor Wembanyama into this narrative that he's already the face of the league. Like, look at what the NBA is posting. A classic never mind forced by Wemby. This was a highlight. I just didn't know we were keeping track of neverminds. I guess Fat Luka forced a nevermind. Jokic right here. Ooh, forcing a nevermind as well. Like, it's just dumb. Again, I'm not diminishing him as not a special talent. He will win his MVP one day. He might win multiple. He's just that good of a player. It's just this season, when you're 106th in minutes behind Rui Hachimura, who's the 6th man on Luka Doncic's team, you have less minutes than the 6th man, and you expect to have more impact than the guy who's 4th in minutes? Like, how can that be possible? How can he be an MVP finalist over Luka if he's played less minutes than the 6th man for the other team's MVP candidate? How does that make sense? But he climbs the ladder to number 1. All right, Wemby. I can't believe it. All right. Matter of fact, I saw Wemby play in person. He was terrible. My MVP can't be dropping 12 and 8 when Big Half is watching him near the ceiling. But he hasn't earned it on the offensive end or played enough minutes to earn an offensive award like MVP. Next, we have Nikola Jokic. Now, Jokic is different. He not only fits the eye test, but in my opinion, he's the best basketball player in the world. The guy almost single-handedly beat Team USA in the Olympics. All right, his impact on winning, honestly, it reminds me of 2018 LeBron, averaging 28, 13, and 11. He reminds me of the Beast Titan. All right, this guy's a monster. But just for this season, you can make the argument that he hasn't had the same impact on winning compared to his previous seasons with the Nuggets. The best example I could give you is when he returned from injury, the Nuggets were 33-16. And ever since then, his team has gone 15-12. Now, whether or not that's just because his team is actually just stupid, that's for you to decide. But if you want to do team record, he does technically have the worst team record. I'm not going to use that against him, though. So I'm not going to sit up here and say Nikola Jokic doesn't affect winning, all right? But just this season alone, the results haven't been there down the stretch. Now, this last month, the Nuggets have been playing very good basketball. But since he's returned from injury, they have been 15-12. Also, there's a bit of a debate on whether his stats are real or not, okay? A bunch of these clips have been gathered by users online, highlighting some of the assists that the scorekeepers for the Denver Nuggets actually keep. For example, right here, Jamal Murray basically is creating everything right here. Step back 3, that counts as a Jokic assist. People saying that he has inflated stats. Now, this guy's the best passer in the league. I'm not totally bought into this one. If Nikola Jokic wins MVP this year, I'm not upset at all. He's wearing Minion Crocs, all right? So that strengthens his case. That's a real MVP candidate. But I don't see anyone talking about his defense, and I think his defense has improved a lot compared to earlier in his career, but I just don't see anyone talking about it. It's interesting. He's automatically slotted in the top 3. But next up, we have Shea. Now, Shea's the easy pick. Averages damn near 32 a game. He checks off all the boxes, all right? As annoying as all of his gimmicks are, his flopping, all right, everything he does to draw fouls, it's almost borderline unwatchable. But best team record in the NBA, best player on the team, gets buckets, averaging 32. That's an MVP candidate. He's another case where it's like, all right, if he wins, I'm okay with it. But now we get to Luka Doncic, who at 34, 8, and 8, can't get in the conversation. But let's just roll with the media members, the voters. for just 1 second in this video, right? Let's just say Luka Doncic's defense has been that bad in a league where every NBA team is playing this optimized, analytical, pick on the worst defender basketball. I'd say the Lakers are doing pretty well. Pretty impressive that his offense surmounts all of those defensive concerns that you keep bringing up, right? Second of all, there's only one defensive stopper in the Lakers starting five, all right? And that's Marcus Smart. Austin Reeves is a cone. LeBron's 41. DeAndre Ayton's DeAndre Ayton. So any defensive stat, defensive number, any equation that you want to throw at me that has anything to do with the performance of your teammates on defense, I don't want to hear any of it. Because if you want to talk defensive numbers, which has never been an argument for MVP, if you want to go there, like I said earlier, he's got the most steals out of every contender. He's got the most deflections out of every contender. Just been much better on defense this year compared to the past. This isn't an award based on the past, so I don't even know why that matters. For the individual season of 25-26, there should be no influence on what Brian Windhorst said about him 2 years ago in the finals. He averaged 37.5 in the month of March. His team went 15-2, and he went down to 4th. It's absurd. He led the league in steals in March. Does steals not count as defense anymore? Like, what are we doing? God, man, I'm not calling him a defensive stopper, okay? I'm not calling him Tony Allen. But the way that you guys are all moving this goalpost is absolutely insane, okay? All three team records for the Lakers, the Spurs, the Thunder, they're all insane, okay? They all played really well in March. So my argument isn't the fact that he should win MVP. My argument is just that how is he not even in the discussion? It's just not fair. Now, if you want my MVP ladder, personally, purely going off of how voters have voted on this award in the past, Wemby's at 4, Jokic is 1C, Shea is 1B, Luka's 1A. Give it to any of those three, I'm not mad at all, okay? I'm not asking you to change your opinion to vote for Luka, because in my opinion, there's only 3 players here that matter. But to argue that Jaylen Brown or Wembanyama deserves to be clear-cut over Luka, that's not even based in reality. It's fraudulent, and it seriously warrants whether or not these voters are actually watching the games, or are they looking over at narratives that their peers have written and just running away with it. Because in my opinion, the vote decides on the games tonight and on the 7th between the Lakers and the Thunder. Because if Luka Doncic just outplays, outmeets Shea, he in my opinion deserves MVP. But you never know, because he could also drop 84 and it might move him further down the ladder. It might drop in the 6th. It's so ridiculous to the point where I'm starting to wonder whether or not MVP voters are fat phobic. All right, leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new. Let me know who your MVP is, and I'll see you guys in the next video.